We'll move into, and I think you know where I'm going with this, the Bears and the Packers.
Yes.
This was a anticipated matchup for so many reasons. Aaron Rodgers is gone, as we know, and then you have Jordan Love, who everyone wasn't sure about, saying it was a waste of a pick, yada, yada, yada. We've heard it. And then you have Justin Fields has a lot of this hype, and this could be the time that the Bears finally put it to the Packers, but it didn't happen.
Right.
The Packers just absolutely thumped the Bears in Chicago, and Jordan Love really, even though he had his up and down moments, finished with 15 to 27, 245 yards and 3 touchdowns to lead the Packers in a rout of the Bears.
Well, and this was a game of adjustments because the first half of the game was quite boring. There was scoring going on, but both of these, it was a game. It was a game. And the second half adjustments is what really blew this game wide open. 28 points scored between the third and fourth quarter of the Packers. And that's really was the difference maker here. I loved what I saw from Jordan Love. It is just amazing that yet again, the Packers draft. Well, Brett Favre wasn't drafted.
But still,
Packers fans, reminded us, we got it. But, just to have another quarterback that is their franchise quarterback, like they just haven't missed in the last 3 generations of quarterbacks, which is just unbelievable.
Well, I think the other part that's unbelievable, we're not going to jump and say, oh, he's Aaron Rodgers, he's Brett Favre, and he's going to be that type of guy.
But it's overreaction Monday.
It is overreaction Monday. And I think that was going to be for if you hear me out about Jordan Love, right?
Yeah. Well, hear me out. Jordan Love is the next franchise quarterback for the Green Bay Packers for years to come. And I'm sorry, Bears fans, but the Packers are probably going to be kings of the North this season. That's my overreaction.
That's your overreaction.
Packers win NFC North this year.
You know what? I'll tell you what. I think what was also impressive to me, Jordan Love was missing his number 1 receiver in Christian Watson.
And we still did that.
And I think people forgot they still have Aaron Jones, they have A.J. Dillon, but then you saw him have connections with some of these younger players having success. And the fact, what I loved about Jordan Love is he felt like he knew where to go with the ball. He got rid of it. Yes, he missed on some throws, but man, he looked like he was in control. And this was a big confidence builder for him. But on the flip side, for Chicago, that was probably the worst you could have started. By far.
Then the mind-blowing part was that so many people were hyped up on Justin Fields, like he was just going to take over the NFL this season. And then he goes in here 24 for 37, 1 touchdown to 1 interception.
And a lot of that came in garbage time.
Yeah. And so just nobody was doing anything on that side of the ball at all.
Well, and I think there's one video we want to show you. Kyle Brandt on Good Morning Football, I thought had a fantastic explanation that we're going to show you here.
Burn the tape type of day, burn the tape. But you better believe before we burn that, no, we're going to watch it once. And just a couple things for the Chicago Bears. All right, so this is a massive day. It's the biggest Bears game in 3 years. It is a new Packers quarterback. Everything is at stake. The fan base really needs this one. Here are some facts. Chicago Bears had a penalty on the opening kickoff of the season. They were stuffed on 2 straight plays on the opening drive of the season. Then they turned around and gave a nearly perfect touchdown drive to the new quarterback, a sequence that former Bears color commentator Greg Olson described as a dream drive for Jordan Love. Puke. That was Jordan Love's second start. It was Justin Fields' 28th start. The Packers started the game with the score, ended the first half with the score, and opened the second half with the score. Green Bay was 60% on third down, 100% on fourth down, 100% in the red zone. Justin Fields threw 37 passes. 3 of them traveled 10 yards in the air. 3 of them went to DJ Moore, who the Bears traded the number 1 overall pick for. DJ Moore, after the game, quote, "We didn't bring the juice and hype to the party today." Not sure why. And in closing, I'm going to do a blind item in the New York Tabloid style. There is a player for the Chicago Bears who I'm not going to mention. I don't know what he's doing out there. He certainly doesn't look like he wants to be out there. He's a name. He's a guy you know. I'm not going to mention his name because I don't have to. If you watch 5 seconds of this game, you know who I'm talking about. I don't know what this player is doing, but I know he's not trying, and I don't know if he's going to be out there much longer. An unbelievably disappointing day for the Chicago Bears. Yes, the goals are still in place, but that was rough, really rough. And Coach Flus, coach him up, man. That was really bad.
Thoughts?
Well, I thought that was extremely well summed up. And you could hear the noise and the excitement on the TV if you were watching this Bears game. Off the get-go, they were excited. And then everything that happened was just, it felt like just little by little, things just kept going downhill for the Bears. And you're sitting there, this is a golden opportunity. You're playing at home. We talked about early games, division games, and how they matter. This one probably was the most important division game out of any game this week one because of the magnitude of what it meant to Chicago being owned by the Packers, and the fact that you got absolutely smacked is just it sucks to see. And also the fact of you get DJ Moore. I know they have Jair Alexander on the Green Bay Packers, and this Packers defense is actually pretty good, but he has 2 targets the entire game. And we have another graphic to show you. Look at that. I believe if I read it correctly, he has 3 throws over 10 plus yards. One of them led to an interception. One of them led the deep one to a touchdown to Darnell Mooney. So you're sitting there going, what was the full game plan? And that offensive line is bad. Maybe it's going, you can't protect Justin Fields, so you want to get the ball out quick. Makes sense. But the point being, everything that you hoped for a Bears fan, it's almost a little bit demoralizing. And I love Justin Fields. I love his talent. He took accountability. He owned up to everything himself. I love his leadership. But what happened today doesn't make you feel better as a Bears fan that he's going to be your guy just yet. And that's maybe the overreaction for hearing me out, is that Bears fans are going to sit there going, here we go again. Yeah. We are still looking to figure things out for our franchise for another season.
I thought this was interesting too. This morning, ESPN's Get Up, they asked who were the last Bears quarterback to sweep the Green Bay Packers. Do you know who it was?
No.
It was Jim Harbaugh in 1991.
Wow.
In 1992, Brett Favre came to the Packers.
Oh, my goodness.
And here we go again.
Whammy. You know, and again, I want Chicago to be good. I love DJ Moore's talent. But again, if you're going to make trades like that, and I even looked at it too, the Eagles and Jalen Hurts, and obviously that offensive line and that system and that organization is tremendous. Chicago it grinds my gears with that. If you get a guy, you spent all that time, why aren't you featuring him in your offense?
Right.
And yes, Jair is fantastic, but the fact that DJ Moore got 2 targets the entire game, and now the Chicago Bears got to go to Tampa, which just went on the road and beat Minnesota. So now you're dealing with the fact of, well, on a season where you thought to make a jump, maybe be a postseason team, maybe challenge for the division, now you're trying to avoid getting into an 0-2 hole and trying to climb yourself out.
I kind of feel bad for Bears fans, but at the same time, I tremendous respect for the Packers organization. This is the other thing too, and we'll get on to the next topic, but I think there's just something to be said about drafting a quarterback and having them sit back and learn from somebody like an Aaron Rodgers. I think that Aaron Rodgers' career would have been still legendary, but you got to wonder, had he not had those few years behind Brett Favre, what his career would have at least started out like. Yeah. And you got to wonder the same thing for Jordan Love. I think that Jordan Love, if you threw him to the Wolves, he probably would not have looked as good.
1,000%.
And I think that it's just, my old man used to talk about this, like when organizations would throw quarterbacks, in their first game right out of college, that they just weren't going to do well. And there's very few quarterbacks that have been able to do that. Most of the time, you're really good quarterbacks that you want to set up, have those couple years under a veteran's belt, just sits on the bench and learns. And it's just so obvious to me that that's the case here yet again with Jordan Love.
Well, it's crazy too. If we're talking about another quarterback that's considered the best in football right now, Patrick Mahomes sat for the whole year.
Yeah.
So it's you're sitting there. And there's value to it because talent sometimes when you're thrown out there, development matters. And that's the only thing I worry about with the Chicago Bears and Justin Fields. Is it going to be a point where he can't make the adjustment, or is the environment made it so challenging for him to go out there and have success? And we're not sure. We don't know. But right now it's not off to a good start. Yeah. Jordan Love and the Packers, they have put him in a good position and understood he was going to have criticism for where he was picked, but they didn't rush it. They made a decision, and now they're building him up the right way and making him feel like he can be the answer for their team, which I think is just absolutely tremendous. Big reason why the Packers have had success with quarterbacks.
Yeah, lots of crazy stuff going on this past week, but there's a lot of the same old, and this feels like the same old Packers.